In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make the 3D pop-up heart card. Here's the card I made in 2009. First, print out the template from creativepopupcards.com. There are two sheets, the heart components and the backing. I've labeled all the parts in the heart so that you can refer to them later. After you cut out the parts of the heart, make sure you remember which parts are which. Here I've already cut out all the parts. Make sure that the slots are cut out precisely, otherwise the heart will be warped or will not fold flat. So let's go ahead and start assembling. Let's start with the A heart and the C ring. All the hearts have slots on the inside and the rings have slots on the outside. Carefully slide the ring inside the heart. Now let's start assembling the rest of the rings. And I've already assembled the D rings, and now I'm starting to assemble the E rings. So now that you have all the rings assembled, then start assembling the hearts. Let's assemble the B hearts by starting with the top of the heart. Gently push each ring through the center of the B heart and slide each corresponding slot together. Remember, starting from the top of the heart. Then slide each of the slots at the bottom of the heart together. You may need to gently bend the rings, but be careful not to make any creases. The smallest ring, the E ring, will be the hardest to slide in place. Just be careful not to crease or fold it. Also make sure all the slots are in place while you assemble the card, otherwise the heart will feel warped or will not fold flat. Okay, I'm checking if it folds flat. Now finally, assemble the F heart pieces. Again, sliding the heart from the top down and then locking the heart in place by sliding the bottom slot together. Always make sure that the assembly folds flat. If it doesn't, then one of your slots slipped out or you didn't cut out the slots precisely enough. There. Now you have the inside heart finished. The next step is to make the backing. I like to use a thicker cardstock for this card. I'm using Bristol paper, which has a paper weight of about 100 pounds. Attach the template to the white cardstock. Again, I like to highlight where I'm going to score the card, making sure not to cut all the way through the card. Now you want to use a needle or sharp object to poke 5 holes through the card where I marked the X on the template. Make sure you go all the way through the card. The backing of the card will be composed of 3 pieces. The white cardstock and that we'll attach the heart to, and 2 red cards that will serve as the outside cover. I've attached the red cardstock underneath so that you can cut both parts at the same time. Now you cut out the 2 pieces. Make sure your white card folds easily along the score line. Now you want to cut the red cardstock in half by measuring 3 inches from the side. Remember which edge you cut so that you can align the same edges together when you assemble the outer cover. Now the heart is attached to the card using thread. You want to choose a thread color that is the same as your backing. In this case, I'm using white thread. Now cut 5 pieces of thread 2 to 3 feet long and attach the thread at these 5 points in the card. I'm going to start by tying one of the threads to the bottommost center point of the heart. The thread should sit at the bottom of the slit. Tweezers help me feed the thread through. Now you want to tie 2 knots in the thread to prevent the thread from slipping out. And tie 5 threads at these locations shown here. Remember, the thread should sit at the bottom of the slots of the heart pieces. All the threads have been tied, and now we'll attach the heart to the card. Each of the pair of threads will go through one of the holes we made in the white card backing. Now you could use a needle threader, or a very fine piece of wire, or even a pair of tweezers. I prefer using the needle threader with the help of the tweezers. If you don't have any of these items, you may want to make the hole a little bit bigger and thread the string directly. You could also use a floss threader. Okay, start by passing the center thread through the center hole, and this is what I've just done. This will help you orient the card. Then tape the thread down on the back side so it won't slip through by accident. Lay the heart down flat, and it'll be obvious which threads go into which holes. Now pass all 5 threads through, taping each one down on the back side. Now that all the threads are passed through, tension the thread so that the heart stands perfectly vertical. Start by pulling the center thread. Pull the threads all the way through and tape the thread down. Next, tension the 2 threads located on the crease, the 2 threads on the side. You'll need to balance the lengths of the threads so that the heart stands straight. Again, taping the thread on the back side. Now finally, balance the 2 side threads while the card is fully opened. Make sure that the heart opens and when the card is open and the heart is symmetrical. This may take several tries. The Scotch tape will help you reposition your threads. You don't have too much tension, but you also want to make sure the heart opens fully. Now when you're finished, make sure the heart stands straight and the threads are taut. So the next step is fixing the threads permanently. Now cut a few pieces of paper, and using Elmer's glue, attach the paper to the thread and the card backing. You can remove the tape after each thread is fixed. Now for added strength, I fold the thread backwards over the paper and glue another piece of paper on top of that folded thread. This should securely anchor the thread and prevent the thread from slipping. If your thread slips, the heart will start to fall over or won't open fully. So it's really important that the thread doesn't slip. You can cut the extra thread after each of the thread is fixed. Ideally, you should let the glue dry so the thread doesn't move while you finish your card. Okay, the final step is attaching the outside covers. Now you want to apply a thin coating of glue to one of the back sides. Be sure to make perfect alignment with the center crease of the card. you want to have a very thin coating of glue, as you can see here. Now do the same with the other side, the other outside side cover. Again, making sure it's perfectly aligned to the center crease. You can always fix the outside edges. You may want to attach the outside cover while the card is open to make sure that the card opens correctly. Now if your outer cover doesn't align perfectly on the edges, you could cut the 3 edges of your card while it's folded so that the inside and the outside cards match exactly. So this is what the card looks like finished. Now you want to put the card under a stack of books so that it could dry flat. Thank you for watching. CreativePopUpCards.com